Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nick from Part-Time Pilot. Sorry, it's been a while. I've been working on some other things. Let's get back to the video series on cross-country planning. In my last video, I showed you how to find the total distance to climb using your fuel time and distance to climb chart. Today, we're going to now evaluate those checkpoints within our climb phase of flight. Okay, so let's say we are climbing all the way through checkpoints 1, 2, and 3, and by the time we get to checkpoint 3, we'll be at our cruise. So now we want to evaluate what altitudes we expect to be at by the time we reach checkpoints 1 and 2, and then the corresponding fuel we will have used up at each of those checkpoints. So for this example that I'm going to go over, let's assume the following mini cross-country course. We're taking off from an airport just off the coast, so almost sea level, but an elevation of 28 feet, up to a cruise altitude of 7,500 feet. And then we're going to have 3 checkpoints. Our first one is 13 nautical miles away from our takeoff. Second one is 7 nautical miles from checkpoint 1, or a total of 20 nautical miles from our takeoff. And our third is 11 nautical miles away, a total of 31 nautical miles. So it looks something like this. We'll take off over here, go to our first checkpoint, intercept an airway here, go up, and then go back to the northeast, trying to avoid these mountains over here. So those are our first 3 checkpoints. So let's also assume that we have just used our fuel time and distance to climb chart to determine the following distance values at our takeoff and cruise altitude. So we use our fuel time distance to climb chart using our pressure, altitude, and temperature, and we find a distance value of 2 nautical miles at our takeoff airport. We do the same for our cruise altitude at 7,500, and we get 30 nautical miles. So now we take the difference between the two. 30 minus 2 equals 28, and that's our total distance to climb. So we know it'll take us 28 nautical miles to climb from our takeoff airport to our cruise altitude. And again, this is what I covered in our last YouTube video, so if you have any questions, please check. So now let's decide to make life easier on ourselves, as I described in the last video, and move checkpoint 3 such that it sits right at our total distance to climb of 28. So now, before this last checkpoint was 11 nautical miles, let's make it 8 so that our total from our takeoff airport is 28. So now when we reach checkpoint 3, we will be at the top of our climb, or expected top of climb. All right, so now this is what it looks like. We just moved this in right here. It worked out because I made an easy example that our checkpoint's right at the beginning of this little lake here, so it's a good visual. So but now from here, and here we expect to be climbing, and after this we expect cruise. Alright, so now again, what we don't know is the altitude, fuel consumption, and time that will be reached, or that we will have at checkpoints 1 and 2. So we can use our fuel time and distance to climb chart to find all 3 of these. For altitude, what we can do is, since we know the distances to checkpoints 1 and 2, we can use the same chart in reverse. We can start at distance, go up to the distance line, and back out in altitude if we have an estimated temperature. And at the same time, we can write down the fuel and time. Now, I don't use the time in this way. I wait until I have incorporated the winds into my airspeed to get a ground speed, and then I use that to calculate time. I think that's more effective. Again, it depends on what your instructor is teaching you. That's how I do it. So to do this, we start with a known distance on the fuel time distance to climb chart and back out in altitude. So for checkpoint 1, it's 13 miles. The leg to checkpoint 1 is 13 nautical miles. We have to remember that we can't use this value to back out in altitude, because the value that corresponds to an altitude is different than the actual distance value to our checkpoint. And if this doesn't make sense, let me try to explain this. So when we found our total distance to climb of 28. If we were to back out an altitude of 28 using the fuel time distance to climb chart, we would not get our cruise altitude. We would get something slightly less than 7,500. But if we were to use the value of 30, we would back out our cruise altitude of 7,500. This is because the distance to climb was the difference between the value at 7,500 of 30 and the value at our takeoff elevation of 2. So in order to do this at each checkpoint, we have to do the distance value of the previous checkpoint plus the distance to the current checkpoint. So for checkpoint 1, the distance value of the previous checkpoint, our previous checkpoint is our takeoff airport, and the distance value again from the chart was 2, plus the distance value to our current checkpoint, which is 13, equals 15. So we will use 15 nautical miles to back out the altitude, because 15 minus 2, if we were calculating this the normal way, we would get our takeoff elevation value, distance value of 2. We would get our altitude value. If we knew the altitude, we would get a value of 15, and then 15 minus 2 would be 13. So then for checkpoint 2, the previous distance value is 15 plus the distance to that checkpoint, which is 7. So we use 22 as our distance value to back it out. And if you don't understand, just wait, I'm going to go over it on the chart. So there's one last piece of information we need, and that's temperature. Since we don't know the exact altitude, that's what we're finding. We can't use an exact interpolation of the winds aloft from our temperature as we normally would, but we can estimate. Okay, so assume we're taking off from here and the temperature is 26 degrees. Okay, we take off, and up here at cruise, the temperature is 12 degrees. We know the total distance is 28 nautical miles, okay? Now, checkpoint 1, we know, is 13 nautical miles. And checkpoint 2, we know, is 20 nautical miles away. Okay, now if we assume that the temperature, just for this quick guesstimation, that the temperature changes the same as the distance does, then at checkpoint 1 right here, we assume that since the temperature is changing from here to here a total of 14 degrees, we can assume that the temperature will change 13 over 28. So 13 is the distance value to checkpoint 1 divided by the total. So this percentage is the percentage of the total distance we've traveled. We can use that same percentage to calculate the guesstimated temperature that we've changed. To do that, we go 13 divided by our total temperature to get 0.46. So 46% of the way there at checkpoint 1. Okay. Now, if we since we know the temperature is changing a total of 14 degrees, so 46% of 14 is approximately 6.5 degrees. We do the same for checkpoint 2. 20 divided by the total of 28 is 0.71. So 71% of 14 degrees is about 10 degrees. Since the temperature is going down as we climb, we will subtract these from the original temperature. So at checkpoint 1, 26 minus 6.5, we can guesstimate we'll be at about 19.5 degrees if our temperature is linearly changing with distance. And in this is a good enough for our estimation. And then at checkpoint 2, 26 minus 10 of 16 degrees. So we can use 19.5 degrees and 16 degrees for our temperatures at checkpoint 1 and 2. Okay, now we can go ahead and do the calculation using our fuel time and distance to climb chart. Let's start with checkpoint 1. Now we said we're going to use a distance value of 15 nautical miles. And we're going to use a temperature which we estimate of 19.5 degrees. So how do we start? Well, we're going to start over here on the right side of the x-axis, and we're going to find this 15 nautical miles on the x-axis, and we're going to draw a straight line up. We're going to draw this line up until it meets or intersects this distance curve. At that intersection, we're going to draw a horizontal line all the way over to the end of the left side of the chart. All right? Now, where that horizontal line crosses this time curve and the fuel curve, we can draw vertical lines down and read off the values for fuel and time. Okay, so I get a value of about 11.5 and for time and about 2.3 for fuel. Again, I don't use time. I don't use time from this, but I do use fuel from this. But remember, this is the fuel value at checkpoint 1. To get the fuel value, the fuel that you will use from takeoff to checkpoint 1, you have to subtract this fuel value of 2.3 from the fuel value that you found at your takeoff elevation. Remember that. This is just the value. You haven't found what you've consumed yet. You have to subtract that from the value at takeoff. All right, now that we have those fuel and time values, we can find go over here on the left side of the x-axis and find our temperature of 19.5 and draw a vertical line all the way up until it intersects this horizontal line. Now at this intersection point, this is going to be our altitude. So if you can see, we're just between the 5,000 and 4,000 feet curves, and I'd say we're about 80% of the way there, so I guesstimated 4,800 feet for checkpoint 1. Now if we go to checkpoint 2, we use a distance value of 22 and a temperature of 16. So find 22 over here, straight line until the intersection of the distance curve, horizontal line all the way over. We can get our fuel and time values. Now so let's say we're finding fuel, we have a 3.7, our last one was 2.3. 3.7 minus 2.3 is 1.4. Now that would be the fuel you consumed between checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. The difference, not just this value. Okay? Now we go over here on our temperature, we find 16, draw a straight line up. Where it intersects that horizontal line, this is our altitude. So we're just above the 6,000 feet line. I guesstimate about 6,100 feet as the expected altitude at checkpoint 2. Now that is how you back out your altitudes from using a known distance value on your fuel time distance to climb chart. Now I said I would explain in detail more why we use the value of 22 and not 7, which is the distance from checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2. That's 7. The reason we use this total value of 22 is here. Okay, so let's say we knew our altitude of 6,100 already, and we are using this fuel time distance to climb chart to find our distance. Okay, so we know 6,100, we know the temperature of 16. So we follow 16 all the way up to 6,100. Then we draw a horizontal line until the intersection of these curves. We draw a line down from the distance curve, and we find 22 here on the curve. All right, now we do the same for checkpoint 1. At checkpoint 1, our temperature was 19.5. So we draw that up all the way to our altitude, which was 4,800. So again, we're assuming we know the altitude at this point. Then we draw a horizontal line until the intersection and draw a line down from the intersection to get about 15. The difference between these two values, 7, is the distance from checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2, which we already knew, but I'm trying to show you that we don't use 7 because the 7 is the difference of these two values. We don't want the altitude associated with 7. That would be way down here. This is not an accurate altitude. We want the altitude associated with 22 because that is the total distance according to this chart that will give us our altitude that we want. All right, so remember to use the distance value according to the previous distance checkpoint's distance value on this chart plus the distance to your checkpoint. So 15 plus 7, 22, and that's how you back out your altitude. Hope this made sense. If it didn't, please comment below, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe. I'm going to continue going through my cross-country checklist. If you haven't checked that out, check out the video. The cross-country checklist has all the steps you need to plan your cross-country. I am just working my way through that, making a video for each and every checkpoint of that checklist. And pretty soon you're going to have every single thing you need to know on my channel. So please subscribe, and as always, follow me on Instagram at part.time.pilot. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there and enjoy your time as a pilot. Thanks, guys.